गुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे प्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितृतश्चार्थे सुविद्यस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। श्रीमद् गीता अध्याय 2 श्लोक नंबर 8।
Śrīmad-Bhāgavad Gita, second chapter, verse 8. In the previous session, we heard the Sharanagati verse of Arjun, in which he prayed to Bhagavan that please educate me, I am surrendered to you. I am bewildered in the matter of dharma, what I should do, what I should not do. That is why what is supremely beneficial for me, what is best for me, what is my real duty, please instruct me. After that, then he tells this next verse.
अर्जुन कहता है वास्तव में भले ही
Translation: Indeed, even if we obtain an unrivaled and prosperous kingdom on this earth, and even sovereignty over the suras or gods, I cannot at all see that which might drive away this grief which is afflicting my senses.
सुख जब हमारे ऊपर कोई समस्या आती है उसके अनेक
So
समाधान हो
when
सकते हैं,
we face some trouble,
लेकिन कुछ
then there
समय
may
ऐसी
be
समस्याएं
many
ऐसी
solutions,
होती हैं कि उसका
but
समाधान व्यक्ति
there are some problems
ढूंढ नहीं पाता।
for which the person finds himself unable to find any solution. So Arjun is also seeing himself in such a situation,
समय व्यक्ति
and in
शरण
such
में
situation,
पहुंचता है।
the person actually thinks of
जब तक
taking shelter.
हम सबल हैं,
As long as
हमारी बुद्धि,
we have our own power,
शरीर
our intelligence, our body senses, everything is working properly, then
भाव हमारे मन में नहीं आता।
the
कोई दुर्लभ
bhava of sharanagati doesn't arise in us.
बगैर मुसीबत के शरणागति के लिए जाए।
There may be very rare people who take sharanagati without
लेकिन
being
जब
in any
हमारा
trouble.
पौरुष, हमारा प्रयत्न सब व्यर्थ हो जाता है,
But when all our
हम जीवन में विसर्जित हो
endeavors,
जाते
all
हैं,
our efforts to solve our
तो
problems
अगर
don't
हमारे
work,
अंदर धार्मिक संस्कार है,
and if we have religious samskaras, if we have sattvic intelligence, then we think about sharanagati, then we think about Bhagavan.
इसलिए अर्जुन भी यही कहता है, नहीं
So
प्रपश्यामि
Arjun is also telling, Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyat
इंद्रियाणाम,
yad chokamuchoshanam indriyanam, that
मेरी
this
इंद्रियों पर
grief
पीड़ा दे रहा है,
which is afflicting my
इसका
senses,
मैं कोई भी समाधान नहीं
I
ढूंढ
am
पा रहा।
not able to see any solution for that.
इसके दो अर्थ हैं, एक तो मेरे को पास कोई समाधान नहीं है, और दूसरा ये भी वो संदेश दे रहा है और बताना चाहता
So
है
one thing is he
कि
doesn't have
मेरे अलावा
solution,
कोई दूसरा नहीं।
but indirectly he is also
मैं मुझे
giving the
मुझे
message to
इस
Bhagavan
शोक से
that there is nobody except you
नहीं
who
निकाल
can
सकता।
pull me out of this
तो
grief.
कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर आप किसी के पास जाएं,
So the
तो
point
उस
is
आदमी
that
को भी
if you go to someone,
ये विश्वास होना चाहिए कि आप
that
उनकी
other
अवस्था में
person
उनकी
should
सहायता
also
करें।
have faith
वास्तव
that
में
you actually need his help, you actually need
क्योंकि
his shelter.
जैसे लोगों की भावना
Because
होती है, इसकी भी
like
पूजा कर लो,
the way
उसकी भी
people
कर लो,
think that worship
ऐसी
this
चीजें
also,
होती हैं।
worship that also, go here, go
इससे
there.
क्या होता है कि कोई
So
भी
then what happens is that
जो देवता है उसके मन में ये भाव नहीं आता है कि
any
ये मेरी
devata,
जरूरत है,
he will not
मेरा
feel
भक्त
that
मेरे
this
लिए
person
चाहिए।
actually needs my shelter
एक
or
ही
he is
साधन
my
सब सुने,
devotee.
सब साधे सब जाए। तो जीवन में
In our
एक
life,
इष्ट होना चाहिए।
if we should have one ishta, one worshipable
जैसे
entity.
कोई स्त्री
Like
शादी करती है तो उसको
if
एक
a
पति
woman
चाहिए,
marries, she has one
उसको
husband, and
देवता सच्चरित्र स्त्री कहा
she
जाता है।
and such a woman is called
उसी
a
प्रकार
chaste woman.
जो व्यक्ति
Similarly,
है उसकी भी एक पत्नी है तो उसको भी
if
अच्छा
a person, if a man has
जैसे
one wife,
श्रेष्ठ उदाहरण
he is
हमारे प्रभु राम है,
considered very dharmic,
उनके एक
religious.
पत्नी व्रत थे।
So, like we have Bhagwan Ramchandra,
तो इसी
who
प्रकार
had
इष्ट
taken the
प्राप्ति
vow
भी
of one
एक ही
wife.
होना चाहिए।
Similarly, our worshipable God
इसका
should be also
श्रेष्ठ
one
प्रयास
only.
इधर उधर
This is
करते
what
रहते
people
हैं,
do
इसका
not
प्रयोग
understand,
करते
and they
रहते
keep
हैं,
wandering
लेकिन
here and
उनका
there, worship this, worship
परमेश्वर
that.
एक ही।
So, whoever they worship, it should
इसी
be
प्रकार
one.
अगर आपको ज्ञान प्राप्त
Similarly,
करना है
if you
तो
have to
एक ही
obtain
गुरु होना
knowledge,
चाहिए।
then you should have one qualified
आप
guru.
कहीं भी जाएंगे तो गुरु भी
Otherwise,
सोचेगा कि ये
wherever
मेरे
you
पास
go,
से चला जाता है,
then guru will also think that he
तो
comes to me
अर्जुन
and then he goes away
अपनी
somewhere
निष्ठा
else.
भी दिखा रहा है
So Arjun
इस
is
श्लोक में
showing
भगवान
his
को,
complete
कि पिछले
faith,
श्लोक में उन्होंने कहा
his fixed faith
कि
in
मैं आपका
Bhagavan.
शिष्य हूँ,
In the previous verse,
इसलिए
he
हम
said that I am
क्या
your
करूँ, आप
disciple.
मुझे शिक्षा दीजिए।
Please
तो
instruct me.
शिष्य की
So
गुरु में निष्ठा होगी तभी ज्ञान
the
प्राप्त होगा।
shishya, the disciple should have nishtha, should have firm faith in the guru.
सिद्धि भवति तादृशी यस्य देवे, जैसे परा भक्ति यथा देवे तथा गुरु, जैसे देवता में भक्ति वैसे गुरु में भक्ति।
The way one has bhakti in the devata, similar bhakti should be there towards guru also. Only then the tatparya of shastra gets revealed in the heart of the
नहीं तो अगर
disciple.
निष्ठा नहीं है
Otherwise, if there is no nishtha, no firm faith, then the disciple will not get
पंडित
knowledge.
बन सकते हैं,
He may become a scholar, a pandit,
जिसको बोलते हैं विज्ञ
but
मनीषी,
what is called vigya in shastra, manishi, very wise person, that he will not become wise person. Like in the previous class, I had given example of the story from Mahabharata, the story of the three disciples. So there it was shown that they had firm faith in the Guru. Similarly, Arjun is also showing fixed, firm faith in Bhagwan. So because Bhagwan may think that he has grief, and out of grief he is telling something, let me tell you something. So Arjun said, no, that I do not have any other solution. And grief is an internal suffering. So its solution cannot lie in outside external objects. Because Bhagavan could have told that you have grief, why are you worried? Just fight in the war. You will get the kingdom and your grief will go away. Because it happens that a human being, he gets some material sense gratification and then his grief goes away. But Arjun's grief is extremely deep. He is telling that even if I obtain unrivaled and prosperous kingdom on this earth, then also my grief will not be driven away. Earlier also he has told that what shall we do by enjoying all this kingdom, all these material sense objects? I don't want all these things. Because this internal suffering cannot be solved. It can be temporarily taken away by getting absorbed in sense objects, but that internal suffering continuously keeps afflicting the person. So this is what we do whenever we are afflicted with some grief or some situation of mental suffering. Then we divide our mind here and there. Some people get into intoxication, or we go to picnic to change our mind. So that may lead to little change of mind or maybe temporarily forgetfulness of suffering, but that is not the solution. If you have some virus inside, then wherever you go, if somebody has fever, if you take him near the ocean, if you take him near some waterfall, some boating, will his fever go away? It is an internal disease. So Arjun is telling that only, that my problem, my grief has no solution. And forget about earth. Even if I obtain sovereignty over the suras or gods, then also my grief will not be driven away. Why? Because the wherever the problem lies, solution should also lie there only. So his cause of grief is his attachment, and the cause of attachment is avidya. So until and unless that avidya is driven away, how can grief or suffering be driven away? If I give you something to eat, drink, lot of wealth, name and fame, post position, even if you get this, with this you will not get knowledge. And avidya here means the avidya of the self, ignorance of self. So that is why we have grief. And everyone has these samskaras of grief and bewilderment in his chitta. There is nobody in this material world who is not afflicted by sorrow and bewilderment, illusion. Only one who has perfectly received the spiritual knowledge, he can or she can get rid of this. So sometime or the other, everybody gets afflicted with this grief. They may not express it, that is a different matter. That is why they use some other things in order to suppress that internal suffering. But suppression of disease is not a remedy of disease. Like in Hindi, you use the word dawa. Dawa means to daba. Daba is to suppress.
इसको दबा दो
To suppress something or somebody.
तो वो दवा काम नहीं करती।
So
तो
suppression
अर्जुन जो
cannot
है वो
solve
उसकी
the
बात
disease,
को दबाना
cannot cure the disease.
मेरा शोक
So Arjun does not want to
गहरा
suppress his disease. He is
तो
telling that my
उसको
grief
यही
is extremely deep. So Arjun is very intelligent. A qualified disciple
होगा
should be like Arjun.
उसको आप कुछ लॉलीपॉप दे दो उससे
If you give him some
शांति
lollipop,
नहीं मिलेगी
he will not be satisfied with that.
वास्तविक ज्ञान चाहिए
He wants real, actual knowledge. This is the quality of a good disciple. Otherwise, people come to on the spiritual path and then they get start wandering here and there. They get distracted by all kinds of things. I want to become this, become that. If you become a member of some spiritual institution, then I have to get some post position. I have to become a sannyasi. I have to become a head of the matha or some acharya. Because in spiritual circles also there are a lot of many posts and positions. There is a whole sequence of posts and positions. So they remain attached to that only. But that has nothing to do with spirituality, whether is somebody is Mahamandaleshwar or Acharya or not. If somebody does not have all these posts and positions, can he not obtain success on the spiritual path? So these things have got nothing to do with spirituality. They are these designations have been created to maintain an order, maintain a system in the spiritual circles in the institutions also. Because wherever there are two or more people, you need some system to regulate. So just to regulate, to maintain an ordered, disciplined maintenance of the society, these designations are created. But people come on the spiritual path and they get deviated, they become distracted. And what is the primary reason? They forget why they came on the spiritual path, or maybe to begin with, they did not have the right desire why they should be on the spiritual path. Here it is being told that what type of inquisitiveness a disciple should have. So he should be inquisitive like Arjun, like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that I do not want wealth, I do not want high birth, I do not want followers, don't want women, I just want your bhakti. I do not want, I do not have any desire for liberation also. So Mahaprabhu is telling that birth after birth, I want your bhakti. So the point is that whatever Arjun is trying to tell, this is his objective. He does not want all these things. He has already experienced all this. Although the war is meant for this only, but now he is telling that I do not want all these things. And after that, he will fight in the war, but he will fight in the war with some different objective. So, first of all, we should be very clear with the objective in our life. Until and unless our objective, our goal is not clear, we cannot reach the goal. And if we have any doubt regarding our objective, then we should get rid of that doubt. Only then in our heart, in our mind, there will be enthusiasm, there will be determination, and there will be patience. So, this much is certain that Arjun has understood this, that all these kingdom and wealth, these relatives, etc., they are not going to give me anything. But he has not understood how to get out of this net. Otherwise, why would he be suffering? So suffering happens when a person is caught up in the web of attachment. So that's why he is telling that please instruct me. What should I do? The story in the Mahabharata, where Pandavas, when they started marching towards Swarga, when Yudhishthir Maharaj got the message that Bhagavan has departed from earth to his abode, then he gave up his kingdom and gave it to Parikshit. He installed Parikshit as the ruler, and Yudhishthir Maharaj with his brothers and his wife, they also moved ahead out of the kingdom. When they reached Himalaya, then one after the other, one brother started falling. It was extremely cold, but Yudhishthir did not look back. This is very surprising. They had so much love for each other that we cannot even imagine the kind of love in today's society what Pandavas had for each other and how much they were dedicated towards Yudhishthir. Whole life they tolerated all the sufferings and troubles for Yudhishthir only. They had told Yudhishthir not to play the game of dice, but still Yudhishthir played. They suffered, but they did not leave Yudhishthir. But now they are one by one falling down on Himalaya. But nothing happened in Yudhishthir's heart. Not even like the prick by an ant. Not no disturbance at all in his heart. He just kept marching ahead. He was even asked why did they fall down. So Yudhishthir, so it is being shown that Yudhishthir how much he was determined and disciplined to achieve his goal. He is showing that give up all these relations here only. Don't carry them ahead. If he would have had attachment in his heart, then he would have sat down there, started crying, tried to revive his brothers by some sort of medication, but he did not do anything. So, this kind of determination, this kind of patience should be there in a sadhak. Only then can he achieve his goal, his objective. And this is Sharanagati. So that is what is being conveyed in this particular verse. Having told this, Arjun became quiet, and now Sanjay speaks about that in the next verse, in the 9th verse.
एवं मुक्त्वा ऋषिकेशं गुडाकेशः परन्तपः नयोत्सैति गोविंदम मुक्त्वा तूष्णीं बभूवः। संजय ने कहा ऋषिकेश से इस प्रकार कहने के पश्चात,
so Sanjay said, after speaking thus to Rishikesh, Gudakesh, the scorcher of enemies, said to Govinda, I will not fight, and became silent. So Arjun spoke the last verse, and then he said that I will not fight. Now, this is a very surprising statement by Arjun, because when you take somebody's shelter, when you surrender to Guru, then you leave your life to that person. Now you cannot say that I will not do this, I will not do that, this is not my job, why should I do this? Then what kind of Sharanagati is that? So this is simply a dealing in of words. It's just a lip service. These are simply some words that I take your shelter, but they don't carry any meaning. If he had to decide that I will not fight, then why did he tell Bhagavan that you instruct me? What instruction shall Bhagavan give to him? So here, a particular kind of mentality is being shown, because Bhagavad Gita is analysis of our psychology only. That this is what happens on the path of spirituality when a person comes and he obtains shelter of Guru, but internally he maintains his independent nature. He simply wants that Guru should tell me something that I like to do, and he tries to prepare the Guru, to convince the Guru that this is right, this is wrong. Then what happens? The disciple himself or herself becomes the Guru, and the Guru becomes the disciple. This is what happens, because Guru wants that the disciple should obey me. and the Shishya, the disciple, wants that Guru should obey me. So here they present their own points of view, their arguments. The tussle starts between the Guru and the disciple. So spiritual path should not be like this. That is what is being shown here. So he told that he won't fight, and he became quiet because he had exhausted all his arguments. He had no more arguments remaining. He had already told why he did not want to fight. He did not want to kill his relatives, and what would be the benefit by killing the relatives. He had told all these things. So the point is that his attachment is still there. It is not gone. Actually, if somebody takes shelter in the proper way, then his problem gets solved then and then itself. But this is very rare. And the reason is that our ahankara, it obstructs our spiritual path. So people work under the shelter of ahankar. They want to protect their ahankar. The disciple wants to protect his ahankar very carefully so that there should be no attack on his ahankar. But he does not speak like this, but he acts in this way. So this is a very difficult situation. On one side, he has taken shelter, meaning that my ahankar is in your hands. It does not mean that I just give up my ahankar, but the point is that my ahankar is uh, towards you. After taking Diksha, the Shishya should have ahamkara that I am a disciple, he is my guru, and this is my identity, this is my personality. And if he is like this, then Prakashante Mahatmana. So everything gets revealed if the disciple is actually like this. Because the darkness of ignorance is this much only, that the Jiva is considering himself to be this body and imposes proprietorship on this particular body, and he starts thinking the snake as the rope as the snake, which is actually not true. He considers temporary to be permanent. He considers suffering to be happiness. He considers unclean to be clean. This is the agyan. This is the ignorance. But when he accepts that my ahamkara is not my body, it is in my guru, that I am the das of my guru or dasi of my guru. So if he actually accepts this in his heart, then he is liberated there and then itself. But this does not happen. That is being shown here in this particular verse. He wants that my problem should be solved, but he does not want to leave his problem also. Like if you sit on a boat and you want to go to some place, you want to go also, but you do not want to remove the anchor also to which the boat is tied. So you simply keep rowing the boat. So this is the situation. So there will be a lot of movement, but you will not progress. So you have to give up this attitude. So that is why here Bhagavan is addressed as Rishikesha. Rishikesha means one who is the owner, the proprietor of the senses, meaning that he is all knowing and he is all powerful. He is also known as Govinda. So Govinda word has many meanings. Go means Veda, speech, one who knows, one who is the knower of the Vedas. So Govinda Rishikesh means one who is all knowing, all powerful, means he has the qualities of Guru. He is capable enough to remove the grief of the disciple. So Arjun told He's revealed his problem to such a person.
ऋषि का जो आनंद देती है इंद्रिय, इसलिए तो इंद्रिय है ना, हमको सुख देती है.
So senses give pleasure, but they are owned by Bhagavan.
मतलब क्या होता है कि वो उनकी सेवा में
So what does it mean? It means that the senses should be engaged in the service of Bhagavan.
उसी के लिए होती है, उसी के प्रयोग के लिए होती है. तो इसलिए उनको ऋषिकेश कहते हैं.
That is why he is known as Rishikesh. He is the owner of the senses. He is the controller of the senses. Bhagavan Shri Krishna. That is why our senses should be engaged in his service. Like Ambarish Maharaj, regarding him it was said.
और गोविंद का मतलब जो ज्ञान के दाता.
Govind means one who also means one who gives knowledge, one who imparts knowledge, one who can remove our suffering, our bewilderment, because only one who has knowledge can remove ignorance. He can remove the darkness by the fire of knowledge. So Arjun, in the midst of both the armies, spoke like this and became quiet. So Arjun's good qualities are also shown, but his weakness is also being revealed here. His good qualities are that he did not care. Actually, he is such a brave warrior falling on somebody's feet, becoming humble. So what will people think of him? In the midst of the two armies, he is behaving like this. So Arjun did not care for that, because when we live in society, then one major problem is what will people think. So that is why what we want to do, we find ourselves unable to do. What will our family think of us? Our neighbors think of us? What our friends will think about us? So it is being shown that when you go on the path of spirituality, you should not worry about all these things. What will others think? Arjun did not even think that what will his brothers think or tell of him. What will enemies think? Others may make fun of him. They may mock at him. Arjun did not care for all this. That is why Bhagavan gave him instruction. Bhagavan understood that he is a qualified disciple. Otherwise, Bhagavan could have simply told him that don't worry, everything will become all right. Now you just fight. He could have told like that. So when we go back to the tent in the evening, that time we will discuss. Now you fight the war. There is no emergency. So it was not like that. That is why Arjun was addressed as Gudakesh. Gudakesh means one who has won over ignorance. Actually, Arjun is not in any sort of ignorance. He is Parshad, is an associate of Bhagavan. Otherwise, how can he be addressed as Gudakesh? Because Gudaka means sleep. So we bid goodbye to everything and then fall asleep. So here sleep is known as Gudaka, and Arjun has won over sleep. Here sleep refers to ignorance, tamas. Then why did he become bewildered? So that because Bhagavan had to give instruction of Bhagavad Gita for the welfare of the society. That is why in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, when Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes his commentary, he has explained this point there, that Bhagavan, when he was on this earth, he killed the Asuras and he displayed his Prema-līlā, and so that later, and he gave, and for the people who will be coming in the future, for them he gave this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita by instructing his friend Arjun. So all this instruction is meant for us. Otherwise, how can Gudakesh Arjun get bewildered? So that's why it is told in this verse that Arjun, he surrendered to Bhagavan, and he told that I will not fight. So he gave the reins of his chariot to Bhagavan. So if you are sitting in somebody's car and you are sitting there, so your life is in the hands of the driver only. Many times it happens. I think it happened in Switzerland. Some pilot, his plane got into accident with the mountain. So people who are sitting in the airplane, their life is in the hands of the pilot. So similarly, Arjun is surrendered to Bhagavan, but he is telling that I will not fight. So Bhagavan may say that I am Rishikesh, then why you are telling all these things? When I have to engage you in the war, I will engage you. Now I want that you should speak like this. That's why you are speaking like this, so that I can instruct people on the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So that's why Arjun speaks all this and he becomes quiet. So it is surprising that the word Uktva appears twice in this verse, Eva Muktva and Govinda Muktva. And after that, again, speaking like this. It could have been told once only. So commentators have given different explanations about this. So now, after this, what happened? Sanjay speaks that in the 10th verse, because Bhagavan's instruction will begin from 11th verse. Translation: O descendant of Bharata, then Shri Krishna, as if smiling, spoke the following words to the grieving Arjuna in the midst of both armies. So here also for Bhagavan, the word Rishikesh is being used. Bhagavan has many names, but the name being used here is carrying special meaning, because because the speaker has some thought in his mind. So for with a specific purpose, he uses some word. So Bhagavan, as if smiling. So why, as if why is he smiling? One reason is that he is thinking that Arjun is my friend and he has made me his charioteer. Now he is making me his guru also, and he came here to fight, and now he is telling I won't fight. So this kind of contradictory behavior, when a person sees contradictory behavior, he starts laughing. So this is uh, something to be made fun of, that he had come here with so much courage to fight, and now he is telling that he won't fight. So naturally, one will laugh seeing this contradictory behavior. And the other real reason is that on one side you told that I take your shelter, I am your disciple. On the other side, you are telling that I won't fight, that I am your disciple, please instruct me, I am surrendered to you. On the other side, you say that I won't fight. So when you have already decided that you don't want to fight, then what instruction shall I give you? You have put me in trouble. Either you make me the guru or you give your instruction. On one side, you tell that give me instruction. On the other side, you give me your decision that you won't fight. So the point is that you give me such an instruction so that I should be able to follow you. So on the spiritual path, there are two types of sadhakas. One is those sadhakas who study Shastra, who accept Shastra, who lead their life on the basis of Shastra. They mold their life according to Shastra. And the other people are those, other sadhakas are those who mold Shastra according to their intentions. Those type of people are also there. They extract only those statements from Shastra which suits their own purposes and intentions. Like now, this great tussle is going on in the for Ayodhya regarding installation of Bhagavan Ramchandra's deity. One side is telling this is wrong, one side is telling it is right. Both are giving statements from Shastra, and they are proving their point of view from Shastra. So this is the type of intelligence the person has. That's why Bhagavan is laughing that till now you were giving so much instructions from Shastra.
इनको मार के स्त्रियां दूषित हो जाएंगी, फिर वर्ण संकर होगा, फिर पिंड दान लोप.
So you have been telling that the women will become polluted and the pindadan will stop, then all ancestors will go to hell, we will also go to hell. So then what shall I tell you? If you go to somebody and tell that if you do these all these things, then so many problems will happen, that means we should not do this. So Arjun showed so many defects in fighting the war by giving statements from Shastra. That means Arjun is indirectly telling Bhagavan that don't tell me to fight the war. Till then you were telling indirectly, and now you have told directly also that I will not fight the war. So then first you make me your guru, and then you say that you won't fight the war, so that later if somebody asks you why you did not fight, you say that my guru told me. So the point is that we do what we like to do, and on the other side we show that we have taken shelter of Shastra, so that we will not be blamed. So this is the hypocrisy, that we are doing what we like, what pleases us, but people will find fault in that, in our actions. They will criticize us. So we prove from Shastra, see, this is written in Shastra, this is Guru's instruction. So seeing this, Bhagavan, he laughs. Another cause of laughing is that, or smiling is that, Arjun is immersed in grief. So generally it is seen, this is a psychology, that if somebody is very happy, seeing him, you also become happy. And if somebody is in grief or crying, so seeing that person, you also start crying. So Bhagavan is also showing that, see, you are in grief, but I am smiling, I am happy. So maybe by seeing me, you may become happy. So here the word Bharata is being used for Arjun. Earlier it was used for Dhritarashtra. Sanjay had used that. He had also used that word. So there are two meanings of that. One meaning of Bharat is in the dynasty of King Bharat, Bharatvanshi. So when Dhritarashtra, for him it is used, there it means Bharatvanshi. But when it is used for Arjun, one who is thirsty for knowledge, one who is immersed in, or who is extremely desirous of knowledge. Here, that is actually the intended meaning, not just the literal meaning that he is born in the dynasty of King Bharata. So that meaning is also conveyed here. And also it is said Vishidantam idam vacha, that is another point, that uvacha and vacha both are used here. So vacha, uvacha. There was no need to use the word vacha. It was sufficient to say tamuvacha, Bhagavan said to him. That itself was sufficient. What was the further the need to say that Bhagavan told him these words? He will speak words only. What else will he speak? Bhagavan spoke that was sufficient to say. Why use the word vacha? So the point is that Bhagavan's words are extremely crucial, extremely important. In Shastra, when there is the repetition, generally repetition is considered a defect if somebody is writing. Because in Shastra there is nothing redundant. But whenever we see repetition, there its purpose is to lay emphasis on some particular point. So here the emphasis is that whatever Bhagavan will speak will be extremely important. That is why he says
पर
Tamuvacha.
किसको कह रहे हैं वो कह
And
रहे
to
हैं
whom is he speaking? He is
अपने
speaking
पास
to Arjun.
विषिदंतम
And what is the state of Arjun? Vishidantam. He is still immersed in
और
grief.
जैसा मैंने कहा कि
He is
शोक का मूल
lamenting.
कारण जो है वो
And as I
आसक्ति
said
है
earlier, that the
लेकिन
primary
अर्जुन की
cause of
आसक्ति
grief is
धृतराष्ट्र की
attachment.
आसक्ति थी
But Dhritarashtra also had
उसने
attachment. In the first verse, it
मामका
was said,
पांडवाश्चैव किम
Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjay,
मेरे और
that what
पांडवों
did
के बीच
my and
अलग
the
थे
sons of Pandu, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? So there he has his attachment is revealed.
उनकी भी आसक्ति
Attachment means me and mine. So Arjun also has attachment.
स्वजन
But what does Arjuna say? He uses the word
दोनों को
Swajan.
स्वजन बोल रहा है
He uses the word Swajan for
अपनी
both
तरफ के लोगों के लिए
people of his side and the side of Kauravas also.
शत्रु पक्ष को भी स्वजन कहता है
On the side of enemies also he is using the word Swajan. So Arjuna's
अर्जुन की आसक्ति
moha,
धृतराष्ट्र की
his
आसक्ति
attachment
भिन्न है
is different from the attachment of Dhritarashtra.
धृतराष्ट्र की आसक्ति बहुत
Dhritarashtra's attachment is extremely limited.
सोच नहीं सकता है
That's why he cannot think.
अर्जुन की
But Arjuna's
जो है
attachment
बड़ी व्यापक
is broad.
जैसे कोई लोग अपने परिवार में ही आसक्त रहते हैं
Like some people, they are attached only in their family,
सोचते हैं
and some people also have attachment, but they think at the level of their country. That's why they are able to do some welfare
धृतराष्ट्र की
activity for the
आसक्ति
country.
अर्जुन की आसक्ति में
So
इतनी
that's
नहीं है
why there is difference in the
जिसके
attachment of
जिसको
Dhritarashtra and
जिसको
Arjun.
ज्ञान
And one who has this type of attachment, like Arjun is having,
संकुचित
giving knowledge to such
बुद्धि
person
का
is
नहीं है
relatively easier because his
इसलिए ये नहीं
knowledge
हुआ
is
इससे
his
ज्यादा वो
understanding
सोच
is
नहीं
not
सकता
very limited.
तो
Those
अर्जुन की
who has
सोच
knowledge
भी
is his thinking is very limited.
इसी कारण
Arjun is
से
not like that. Arjun's thinking is very broad.
सोचने से ही शोक
That
होता
is
है
why he is
एक प्रकार की अगर कोई
grieving.
चीज मेरे पास है
Why does a person
और
grieve?
वो विनष्ट हो
Because
जाएगी
he has something and it will get
या विनष्ट
destroyed,
हो गई है
or
वो
it
चीज
has
नहीं
been
रह जाती है
destroyed.
तभी शोक होता है
Actually, grief happens only when it gets
अर्जुन के
destroyed.
यहाँ तो कुछ शोक का भी कारण है नहीं लेकिन
Arjun actually does not
देखता
have
है कि
any
ऐसा
cause for
होगा
grief, but he
तो
is
इसलिए वो
foreseeing
शोकाकुल हो गया
that this will
तो
happen.
इसलिए वो कहता है
That's why he is grieving.
विषिदंतम इदम वच
So it is said, Vishidantam idam
भगवान जो है
vacha.
फिर
So
स्नेह
Bhagavan
रस
then,
जिस
out of affection,
ये
instructs
वास्तव में
Arjun,
जिस व्यक्ति
because
ने ये
actually,
निर्धारण कर लिया है
one who has
तो
decided
अब उसको
that
उपदेश
I will
देना
not
चाहिए
fight, what instruction can you give to that person?
लेकिन भगवान क्योंकि ऋषिकेश है
But because Bhagavan
इसलिए
is
वो
Rishikesh,
अर्जुन की बात को जानते हैं
he
वो
understands
जानते
the
हैं कि अर्जुन
thought
का ये
in
जो निर्णय
Arjun's
है मैं युद्ध
mind,
नहीं करूंगा ये
what is the
वास्तविक
feeling in his
सही
heart.
निर्णय नहीं है
He understands that
ये
this
परिस्थितिवश है
decision that Arjun has taken, that he will not fight,
वो
it
केवल
is not his
परिस्थिति
firm decision. It is simply circumstantial because
गुस्से में आ जाता है
he is lamenting, he is
अपने
grieving. When a
दूसरे
person
लोग
becomes very
उसको
angry,
अपनी पत्नी
then
को
he
भाइयों
may
को भी उल्टा सीधा कुछ बोल देता है
says use
वास्तव
bad
में
words. He may speak
शैतान
bad
उसको
words towards his
नहीं समझाएगा
parents or maybe his wife or
जब वक्त
children,
आएगा तो
but
उसको
that is not
पछतावा होगा
actually
ये
his
काम
real
करना चाहिए
feeling,
मैंने
because
किया
later he repents
ऐसा नहीं
also
बोलना
that
चाहिए
he spoke like
फिर वो
this,
क्षमा प्रार्थना भी करता है
and then he begs forgiveness
तो इसलिए
also.
जब आदमी अपनी साधारण
So when
स्थिति
a
से
person
किसी
from his normal
साधारण स्थिति में आता है
situation,
उस समय वो जो बोलता है या निर्णय लेता है
when
उसको ज्यादा गंभीरता से नहीं
when
लेना
a
चाहिए
person is in some abnormal situation, not
दुर्भाग्य है कि उससे
some
पता
different
चलता
type
है
of
उसकी मानसिक
situation,
स्थिति
whatever he is speaking or
क्या है
deciding, we should not take it very
लेकिन अगर उसी
seriously.
को लेके हम भी उस प्रकार व्यवहार
But
करेंगे तो उससे
if
फिर
we
लोग
start
गुस्से करेंगे
behaving
आदमी
badly
किसी
with
को कुछ
for
बोलता
that
है दूसरे
person
आदमी को गुस्से में बोलता
just because he has spoken
है अगर
something
उस
out of
आदमी
anger, being
समय
in an abnormal situation,
शांतचित्त रहे
then
तो
it
बात
takes a very
खत्म हो
bad
जाएगी
turn if we also if we
तो
also
भगवान ये
start
जानते
behaving
हैं
like
कि
that.
अर्जुन ये जो बोल
If
रहा
we
है कि मैं
remain
युद्ध
quiet,
नहीं करूंगा
then the
ये क्या
situation
बोल
won't
रहा है
become bad. So Bhagwan is understanding here
वास्तव में
that
वो
what
बोलने
Arjun
कैसे
is speaking is simply out of his grief.
अर्जुन
That is not his normal state of
यही
mind,
है
because he is a very brave
यद्यपि
warrior.
वे न दैन्यम न पलायनम
Because it is the
दैन्य से
vow
डर
of
के वो
Arjun
कभी युद्ध
that
से
I
नहीं
will
भागता
never run away from battlefield.
वो अपनी
But
प्रतिज्ञा को
now
भूल गया है
he has forgotten his
गुस्से
own
होने के
vow
कारण
because
तो
of
इसलिए
his
भगवान
grief.
इस चीज को जानते
So
हुए
Bhagavan,
उन्होंने
understanding this,
मना नहीं किया
he did not
नहीं तो वो मना कर सकते थे
uh,
कि मैं तेरे को क्या उपदेश दे सकता हूँ
he did not
तेरा कोई
refuse
निर्णय
to
नहीं ले
instruct
सकता
Arjun. Otherwise, he could have refused. stating that you have already taken your decision, so I won't instruct you. But Bhagwan did not do like that. Because he has love for Arjun, that's why he says, it is said here, Vishidantam idam vacha uvacha, means Bhagwan spoke these words to Arjun. So here his friendship, his mercy, his compassion is being showed here. Otherwise, in Manusmriti, it is said that when not asked to speak, one should not speak. One should speak only when he is asked. So Arjun had already told that he won't fight. Still, Bhagavan has agreed to instruct him. So knowing all this, Bhagavan will instruct Arjun from the next verse. So from the 11th verse, Bhagavan will start giving the knowledge of Gita. And this is a great speciality of Gita, that this this instruction begins from the state of grief. In this verse also it is said Vishad. In previous verse also it was said about Shoka. And when Bhagavan will also start speaking, first he will speak about Shoka, about grief. And in the end, when he will conclude his instructions, there also he will say Ma Shuchah, that do not grieve. He will speak this. So by this it is proved that Bhagavad Gita is the solution to our grief, our shoka. And this grief, this grief troubles everyone, and nobody likes it. Every person faces depression to some extent for some period of time, whether for short or long period. But everybody gets afflicted by depression sometime or the other. So the cause is attachment, avidya, and its solution will be given by Bhagavan here in Gita. Its primary cause is that we consider ourselves independent of Bhagavan, and this body which is not ours, we consider it to be ours. If something is not ours, we consider it ours, and what is ours, we do not recognize it to be ours. This is the cause of grief. That is why in Gita, Bhagavan will give solution to this problem of grief. So here it is beginning with Sharanagati, and Gita will end with Sharanagati. So this is the main mantra of Gita. Whether people say that here Karma Yoga is main or Jnana Yoga is main, but in reality, the main topic is Bhakti, because Bhakti begins with Sharanagati. Wherever there is any instruction of beginning Bhakti, although it begins with Ado Shraddha, but actually its first step is Sharanagati. Bhakti begins with Sharanagati. And the solutions of our problems lies in Sharanagati. And as long as we consider ourselves independent, our problems will continue. And on the path of Bhakti, this very strong dose or an injection is given for this disease of independence. In other paths, people maintain their independence, whether it is the path of yoga or jnana or karma. So that's why bhakti is a very strong and success guaranteed path, but it has to be understood properly in Bhagavad Gita. So we will stop here, and if you have any question, you can ask.
परमानंद जी पूछते हैं कि एक शिष्य शरणागत कब होता है? क्या वे जब
question, thank you. I am wondering if the guru is no longer in the physical body,
दीक्षा ले ले तो क्या ये उचित है?
तो शरणागत कब होता है?
Okay, question is, when does a disciple take shelter? Is it when taking diksha, or does it happen before that? If someone doesn't test sadhu before taking diksha, is that okay? So actually Sharanagati when happens, it depends on you. You can become surrendered even before Diksha or during Diksha. It's nothing like that. Sharanagati is a state of mind of the disciple. It is not something that he has to show or prove. You may tell that you are surrendered, but you may not be. Even after taking Diksha, you may not be surrendered. So that is what is being shown here, that I am surrendered to you, but I will not fight. So there is lack of Sharanagati on the part of Arjuna. So that is why it is the state of Sharanagati is a state of mind. So taking shelter of an unqualified guru, it is not mentioned anywhere in Shastra. His next question is it the guru's responsibility to ensure the disciple is fixed in the proper teachings? What can the disciple do if they may not have thought to clear some doubts when the guru was present, and in the future they meet with issues they do not know how to deal with? So after the guru's departure, it is not necessary that you have to again take Diksha. You can just find some qualified guru to get your doubts clarified. For doing that much only. Qualified means one who understands Shastra deeply, very properly, and who is ready to help you. And another point is that the other guru whom you approach should be on the same path that you are following. Otherwise, there is the risk of committing offenses. So, from whomever you take instruction, he should be on the same path as your original guru. Next question: what is avidya? Avidya means not having knowledge about something. And here on the path of spirituality, avidya means not having knowledge of our own swarupa, who not knowing who is Bhagavan, not knowing what is our relation with Bhagavan. That is avidya. Next question. The question is that after committing some mistake, we grieve and we repent. Why we did like that? When we have committed mistake, after having committed mistake, is it right to lament for that? How can we forget that and move ahead? Because it keeps pricking our heart again and again that we should not have done like that. So there is no benefit by grieving or lamenting. Accepting our mistake is one thing, and getting into depression is another thing. Because when you become depressed, then you lose your enthusiasm to do anything. You don't feel like acting and your time gets wasted. So you should be fixed in achieving your goal, and you should learn from your mistake how you should not commit it again, remain aware so that the mistake does not get repeated. Next question is, where is the original first copy of Bhagavad Gita that Vyasdev wrote? How can I find where would be the original copy of Bhagavad Gita on which Vyasdev himself wrote 5,000 years back? So another question. How does one come to the point of Sharanagati? So this depends on your own Shraddha. By engaging in satsanga, you hear, and then in whomever you get Shraddha, you take his Sharanagati. Nobody can force you to take Sharanagati of somebody. It is your own state of mind. That is only possible when you have Shraddha in somebody who is qualified to give shelter.
पूछिए संदीप।
प्रणाम बाबा जी महाराज। So मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि यहाँ तो
the question is that here it is Bhagwan's Leela that Arjun, he has given his arguments, he has taken shelter, still he says that I will not fight. But in a practical sense, if a disciple does not understand 100% that Guru is always right, then how can he come to the state of understanding or accepting that Guru is 100% right, 100% always right?
तो यही मैं बोल रहा हूँ, इस गुरु पहले तभी
So
समझ जाए जब
answer,
ऐसी
that is
श्रद्धा
what I am
हो।
telling, that you should accept Guru only when
यही दुविधा
you have this type of Shraddha. Otherwise you remain in this type of doubt. Before accepting Guru, you should check whether you have full Shraddha or no.
मन से चलोगे तो फिर गुरु क्यों करना?
Because if you accept Guru
मतलब आप अपने मन से
while being in the state of doubt, then you will actually not be following the Guru,
मेल खाता है तो उसको
because you will follow the Guru only when his instruction matches with your own ideas. And if it does not match with your ideas, then you will not follow him. Then what is the point of accepting Guru?
जो आपको अपने मन से ही चलना है,
When you want to follow your mind only, when you want to remain whimsical, why should you accept Guru?
प्रश्न है, महाराज जी मैं अपने आप को बॉडी महसूस
Next
करता हूँ।
question. I feel that I am the body. I do not feel that as if I am Atma. What should I do so that I
करनी पड़ेगी।
start feeling that I am Atma?
नहीं,
For that you have to engage in sadhana.
करनी पड़ेगी, अपने आप को महसूस होने नहीं लगेगा।
On its own, automatically you will not start feeling that you are Atma. You have to engage in sadhana, you have to learn Shastra.
उत्कर्ष जी पुनः पूछते हैं,
Next
महाराज,
question.
अपनी आसक्ति को पहचानने के बाद उससे मुक्त होने के लिए
After
क्या
recognizing our attachment, what should we do to get rid of the attachment? So answer, learn Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan will teach how to cut the attachment. Listen and learn with patience.
परमानंद जी पुनः पूछते हैं कि हरे कृष्णा, किस प्रकार से व्यक्ति को केवल एक
Question.
करना चाहिए, इसका
Thank you for mentioning how a disciple should only have one qualified Guru. I am wondering, if the Guru is no longer in the physical body
इस शरीर को छोड़ करके चले गए हैं,
and a disciple has to engage with many other sadhus, then how can the disciple remain true to his Guru's teachings and not disrespect other sadhus? I mean to say, how does the disciple remain fixed in his Guru's teachings? How will the disciple know he is following the Guru's teachings in any given circumstance?
अपने गुरु के और भी तो शिष्य होंगे, आप ही
So your own Guru must be having other disciples also. I mean you must be having qualified God brothers or God sisters. So you should do sangha with them and you should ask them. Otherwise you will definitely face this problem. When you go there,
दूसरे साधु लोग आप
then the other sadhus, they will speak something which will be against your own Guru's teachings, and then it will lead to offenses. So your own God brothers, God sisters, you should do satsanga with them. You should ask them whatever doubts you have. There must be some like this who know more than you.
प्रश्न है, महाराज जी ऐसा कहते हैं कि जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है,
So it is said that whatever happens for good only. Is it true? So answer, if you believe in this, then it is right. If you do not believe in it, then no.
जिनका भगवान में विश्वास होता है वो ऐसे ही सोचते हैं।
Those who have faith in Bhagavan, they always think like this, that whatever happens for my good only. Because if I actually have faith in Bhagavan and I accept that Bhagavan is the ultimate controller, everything is being controlled by him. So whatever has happened in my life or is happening, that is according to his will only. Then what is the problem? It must be good for me.
राजेश जी पुनः पूछते हैं कि महाराज, अर्जुन का
Next question.
कोई
Is there any disciple of Arjun?
सकते हैं कि
Because we know that he is the ultimate disciple of Lord Shri Krishna.
शिष्य है?
अर्जुन का कोई शिष्य नहीं है, अर्जुन ने कोई प्रवचन नहीं
Arjun never gave any lecture. He did not have any disciple. Bhagavan gave lecture only to two people, Arjun and Uddhav. The lecture to Uddhava is given in Uddhav Gita in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam.
Yes.
राधे राधे, ऐसा कहते हैं भगवान कर्ण कर्ण
So it is said that Bhagavan resides in every atom,
गंदगी भी तो है,
but there is so much dirt in this world. Then how is Bhagavan everywhere?
गंदगी से दूर रहते हैं.
So Bhagavan is everywhere, but he does not associate with the dirt of this world. The dirt of this world,
शरीर में आत्मा रहती है तो आत्मा तो गंदी नहीं होती.
it cannot touch Bhagavan. Like there is Atma inside the body, but the body cannot touch the Atma actually. Atma, so when Atma can be inside this body, why Bhagavan cannot be?
ठीक है. तो अभी प्रार्थना श्लोक. बोलिए.
You related the story at the end of the Pandavas' lives when they went to the Himalayas, how Yudhishthira did not turn back when they all fell. And you said that we learn from this his determination. So I wanted to know whether Yudhishthira considered the Pandavas as material relations, even though they all served Krishna, and what is the takeaway for us to learn?
No, takeaway is to show that when you have your destination, then you should be focused on that. That's what is being shown. Material, spiritual, whatever is his relationship with Krishna, his brothers also have the same relationship. But now he is focused on his relationship and he is not bothered about that. That is to show that his asakti is not in anything but in Bhagavan.
That does not mean that we shouldn't take care of our...
No, that does not mean. You have to see the tatparya, the intention, the purpose of the description. तो अभी प्रार्थना श्लोक उच्चारण करेंगे. सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपाल नंदनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्र गीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः यच्छ्रेयस्यान् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर् ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजंघ्रये भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनम् प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम् हरि ओम तत्